Sony's standalone Venom movie has come and gone, and we all survived. Now let's eat some lobsters and try to explain the end of Venom. Major spoilers ahead. Switching sides. By the movie's climax, the goopy alien Venom tells Eddie Brock that he's ready to help humanity repel his race's invasion of Earth. Why? According to the alien, it's because on his home planet, he's kind of a loser, just like Brock. It's a great line, but it doesn't really explain the pivotal moment. However, it could have some roots in the comics. In Venom First Host Number 1, we learned that the symbiote that would eventually become Venom was cast out from the rest of its gloopy brothers and sisters, possibly the result of some kind of cognitive damage. As a result, Venom's never really been quite like the rest of the Marvel Comics symbiotes we've met. Of course, none of that sounds as good as Venom calling himself a loser, so it didn't make it into the script. Alien Nation. Life Foundation head honcho Carlton Drake was up to his armpits in symbiotes for most of the movie, but by the end, only Riot and Venom remained. So you may be wondering, what happened to the rest? Well, apparently the symbiotes couldn't live in their given hosts and died, which kind of makes Riot's plan to steal a rocket and bring a whole bunch more anaerobic symbiotes to an oxygen-rich planet filled with incompatible hosts kind of dumb.
You suck.
But enough about all that. Did you see the part where Venom chomped on some guy's head? That was great. That red-haired bozo? So what's the deal with Woody Harrelson and that bright red wig during the first post-credits scene? Well, that, dear friends, was Cletus Cassidy, a mass murderer who eventually becomes the supervillain named Carnage. Carnage is yet another symbiote, an even goopier, eviler offspring of the Venom lifeform. That's right, y'all. Venom's gonna be a mom. Despite the fact that all the other symbiotes died in this movie, we know that if Sony decides to greenlight a Venom sequel, we've just met the lead villain. A lethal protector? Venom had a pretty hard time keeping his violent urges in check for the majority of the film.
So many snacks, so little time.
The bodega scene at the end is a clear example of that, since Mrs. Chin sees Eddie's transformation and head-eating habits. So is Eddie going public with his alter ego Venom? The short answer is, well, maybe. We know from the comics, especially the Lethal Protector story from the 1990s, that Brock's identity as Venom was known to the residents of San Francisco, though more as an unstable monster than a lovable creep. The end of the movie seemed to indicate that the film franchise may be going this route as well, at least as far as folks in his San Francisco neighborhood are concerned. MCU later? So is Venom in the MCU? Sure, Sony and Marvel Studios agreed to share Spidey for a few MCU movies, but Spider-Man's supporting characters remain a continuity mystery since Sony owns their movie rights and Marvel doesn't. There's really no clear answer to this, even by the movie's end. No one mentions Tony Stark or S.H.I.E.L.D., so Venom's connections to the wider Marvel universe are thin to non-existent. But no one mentions Spider-Man either. In the end, Venom seems to take place in its own little dimension, so all you superfans hoping to see Doctor Strange team up with Venom are probably out of luck. Unless... Into the Spider-Verse. Venom's second post-credits scene teased the animated Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, which teams up different versions of Spider-Man from across the multiverse. And the comics it's based on had more than just comic book Spideys, including guys like the Spider-Man from the 1970s Japanese TV show, at least a couple cartoon Spider-Men, and even the Spider-Man from Capcom's fighting games. There was a Spider-Man for every fan. So what's this got to do with Venom? Well, the Spideys from Sony's previous two Spider-Man movie franchises, Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield, can theoretically connect up with Tom Holland's Spider-Man. And while Spider-Man didn't show up in this movie, Into the Spider-Verse still connects all of them to Venom. Venom may never share a milkshake with Drax the Destroyer, but you can rest easy knowing that somewhere in the far reaches of the Spider-Verse, it just might happen.